On the eve of the election, there was this hope of a big win, even the expectation that there was going to be a big moral wave to hit the electorate, that many people would turn away from Trump and vote for an actual adult person who actually wants to govern. We all hoped for a decisive election that could be called on Tuesday night. I thought the people who took a chance on Trump in 2016, who wanted to shake things up a bit with a brash businessman, would see the error of their ways. Tuesday night's sleeplessness and intermittent nightmares led to uncertainty, 3 to 4 days of queasy stomachs and heads that ache. I didn't know if I was going to write a sermon, a lament, or a eulogy. This week had it all. And there were even moments of elation, literal dancing in the streets, and maybe even some restored pride in our country with the first female vice president, Kamala Harris. Now, we would not have remembered too much of this week if it wasn't for the events of the week and the attached emotions. We don't remember the mundane all that well. This will be a memorable week. But our memories are far from perfect. Eyewitness reports are not reliable. When we remember, we are calling up again, and all the subsequent memories after are based on that initial remembering, not based necessarily on the actual historical event. Memory is not like accessing documents on your computer. Memories are reconstructed. Most of us get the gist of the matter correct, but the details are often filled in. Most of us remember the gist of Trump, a man born into wealth with a collection of failed businesses and then reinvents himself as a reality TV star, then is elected president, calls Mexican immigrants rapists and criminals. He puts in place a Muslim ban, has children in cages, calls white nationalists very fine people, separates families at the border. Officials now can't even reunite many of those children with their parents. Trump has been more interested in performing than governing. He doesn't understand the basics of democracy, and I'm afraid doesn't seem interested in learning about them either. He's a wannabe dictator who would have been impeached if not for a slim Republican majority in the Senate. Trump demands loyalty like a gangster and is unempathetic to the loss of human life, as we've seen in the COVID-19 pandemic. Trump had peaceful protesters gassed and forcibly removed so he could have a photo op with a Bible in front of a church. A tax cheat, a con artist, a narcissist, the personification of everything that is wrong with our country, liar in chief, commander of chaos. Our circle of relations and society's influences our way of remembering. Unitarian Universalists will remember Trump differently than an evangelical will. Our collective memories will be different. Our memories of Trump say a lot about who we are in this present moment and in this present community and what we value. Our memory of Trump informs this moment. Now, Trump supporters may remember him as the last bastion of personal freedom and gun rights who tells it as it is, a great businessman, the least racist person in the room who has done more for Black Americans than anyone since Abraham Lincoln, and also the president with the biggest inauguration crowd ever. If we acknowledge that Americans will remember Trump differently, perhaps we can heal faster. Not only will each side remember Trump differently, each generation will remember, recall, and reconstruct Trump differently. When I grew up, the story of Christopher Columbus was taught to me as if he was a hero. We now remember him as a murderer and slaver. Perhaps we can remember Trump not as a mistake or an anomaly, but as the culmination of a disjointed country. As undemocratic and cruel as Trump has been, can we remember Trump as an American, a fellow citizen? This country of ours produced him and elected him. Farmers in Iowa say they connect to him. Trump as a brand and a movement is American. There is something here that pushes the moral alarm bell. Trump doesn't even try to tell the truth and cries when he doesn't get his way. And the way he made fun of John McCain and his multiple sexual assault allegations, the reality is, if you had a doctor that acted like Trump, you would get a new doctor. If your child's teacher acted like Trump, you would talk to the principal to try to get them fired. And if that didn't happen, you would pull your kids out of that school. In the last 4 years, the lunatic fringe became mainstream. Yet this is the United States of America, our United States of America. This is who we are. Donald Trump may have been defeated and voted out, but not Trumpism. And I say that not just because Trump has a cult following and he can actually run again. The Trump brand will remain a bestseller. Others will run as heirs of his legacy and say what is really on their minds. They will be angry and full of conspiracy theories, and people will continue to vote Trumpism. The man, the myth, the stable genius will be gone in a few months, but Trumpism will remain. The anti-reason, the anti-intellectual, the anti-expert, and the anti-science will remain. The lack of trust in our most basic democratic institutions will remain. I think there could be a rise in domestic terrorism with all these white nationalist militias leading. And in the past, world wars, terrorist attacks united our nation. But it seems now that even a pandemic cannot unite us. Now, many of us have worked for justice and social causes our whole lives. And here's the fact: we will have to continue to do this. The Biden-Harris ticket does not cure or heal anything. The cause of justice will still be here for us to embark on. Remember the makeup of the Supreme Court. Remember what it'll be a small miracle if the Senate becomes under Democratic control. The House is barely Democratic. I don't think there will be a Green New Deal. There will be no Medicare for all, no big police reform bill, no sweeping immigration bill that honors the dignity and worth of all people. There will be no big progressive change, but there will be decency. There will be respect. There will be healing. There will be compassion and adult behavior coming out of our highest offices. This is enough to cause celebration. There will be common sense. And really, isn't that all we've wanted in the past 4 years? I am hopeful that the small ripples and waves of energy will slowly erode the worst divisions in our country. Biden-Harris is not the end or the beginning. This is just another stop on the journey of justice. We will have to keep struggling together, and we will be sustained by the joys of our relationships, by the simplicity of noticing our life-giving breath. So may our medicine be friendship, and the only magic we truly need, love. And may our prayer just be to simply be. So celebrate, but celebrate humbly, and remember how it felt 4 years ago when Trump was elected. 71 million people may be experiencing that now. Perhaps we can see others as ourselves, others' visions as our vision, others' families as our family, other towns as our town, other worlds as the one universe that is before us. Let's pull ourselves out of a binary of good and evil and believe in the ability of love and compassion to heal. Let us all love the other that we don't understand. And maybe our community, our church, can be a space for healing. I know that at some point our church will open, and we will open. Beauty will prevail. Flowers will bloom. Our fears will fall away. Possibility will take flight. Our liberatory faith is a beautiful one. So don't just keep the faith. Spread our faith. Invite hope in each and every day. And if we have to, invent hope each and every day. Amen, and blessed be.